Good evening, and welcome to Third Church of Christ Scientist of New York City. Let's begin the meeting with singing hymn number 7. Abide with me. Fast breaks the morning light. Our day star rises, banishing all night. Thou art our strength, O truth that maketh free. We would unfailingly abide in thee. Number 7. I'll read from the Bible and from Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures by Mary Baker Eddy. The subject of this evening's readings is strength. The Bible, Psalms. I will love thee, O Lord, my strength. The Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, my God, my strength, in whom I will trust, my buckler and the horn of my salvation and my high tower. I will call upon the Lord, who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from mine enemies. He delivered me from my strong enemy and from them which hated me, for they were too strong for me. They prevented me in the day of my calamity, but the Lord was my stay. He brought me forth also into a large place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. The Lord rewarded me according to my righteousness. According to the cleanness of my hands hath he recompensed me. For I have kept the ways of the Lord, and have not wickedly departed from my God. I was also upright before him, and I kept myself from mine iniquity. Therefore hath the Lord recompensed me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands in his eyesight. For thou wilt light my candle. The Lord my God will enlighten my darkness. For by thee I have run through a troop, and by my God have I leaped over a wall. As for God, his way is perfect. The word of the Lord is tried. He is a buckler to all those that trust in him. For who is God save the Lord? Or who is a rock save our God? It is God that girdeth me with strength, and maketh my way perfect. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? One thing have I desired of the Lord all the days of my life, one thing have I desired of the Lord, that will I seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord, and to inquire in his temple. For in the time of trouble he shall hide me in his pavilion. In the secret of his tabernacle shall he hide me. He shall set me up upon a rock. And now shall mine head be lifted up above mine enemies round about me. Therefore will I offer in his tabernacles sacrifices of joy. I will sing, yea, I will sing praises unto the Lord. For the Lord is great, and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods. Honor and majesty are before him. Strength and beauty are in his sanctuary. Give unto the Lord, O ye kindreds of the people. Give unto the Lord glory and strength. Let the heavens rejoice, and let the earth be glad. Let the sea roar and the fullness thereof. Let the field be joyful, and all that is therein. Then shall all the trees of the wood rejoice. Judges. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord delivered them into the hand of the Philistines 40 years. And there was a certain man of Zorah, of the family of the Danites, whose name was Manoah, and his wife was barren, and bare not. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto the woman, and said unto her, Behold, now thou art barren, and bearest not, but thou shalt conceive, and bear a son. Now therefore beware, I pray thee, and drink not wine, nor strong drink, and eat not any unclean thing. For lo, thou shalt conceive, and bear a son, and no razor shall come on his head, for the child shall be a Nazarite unto God from the womb, and he shall begin to deliver Israel out of the hand of the Philistines. And the woman bare a son, and called his name Samson. And the child grew, and the Lord blessed him. And it came to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. And the lords of the Philistines came up unto her, and said unto her, Entice him, and see wherein his great strength lieth, and by what means we may prevail against him, that we may bind him to afflict him. And we will give thee, every one of us, 1,100 pieces of silver. And Delilah said to Samson, Tell me, I pray thee, wherein thy great strength lieth, and wherewith thou mightest be bound to afflict thee. And Samson said unto her, If they bind me with 7 green withs that were never dried, then shall I be weak, and be as another man. Then the lords of the Philistines brought up to her 7 green withs which had not been dried. and she bound him with them. Now there were men lying in wait, abiding with her in the chamber, and she said unto him, The Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he brake the withs, as a thread of tow is broken when it toucheth the fire. So his strength was not known. And Delilah said unto Samson, Behold, thou hast mocked me, and told me lies. Now tell me, I pray thee, whither thou mayest be bound. And he said unto her, If they bind me fast with new ropes that never were occupied, then shall I be weak, and be as another man. Delilah therefore took new ropes, and bound him therewith, and said unto him, The Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And there were liars in wait, abiding in the chamber. And he brake them from off his arms like a thread. And Delilah said unto Samson, Hitherto thou hast mocked me, and told me lies. Tell me wherewith thou mightest be bound. And he said unto her, If thou weavest the 7 locks of my head with the web. And she fastened it with the pin, and said unto him, The Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he awaked out of his sleep, and went away with the pin of the beam, and with the web. And she said unto him, How canst thou say, I love thee, when thine heart is not with me? Thou hast mocked me these 3 times, and hast not told me wherein thy great strength lieth. And it came to pass, when she pressed him daily with her words, and urged him, so that his soul was vexed unto death, that he told her all his heart, and said unto her, There hath not come a razor upon mine head, for I have been a Nazarite unto God from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak and be like any other man. And when Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, she sent and called for the lords of the Philistines, saying, Come up this once, for he hath showed me all his heart. Then the lords of the Philistines came up unto her, and brought money in their hand. And she made him sleep upon her knees, and she called for a man, and she caused him to shave off the 7 locks of his head. And she began to afflict him, and his strength went from him. And she said, The Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he awoke out of his sleep, and said, I will go out as at other times before, and shake myself. And he wist not that the Lord was departed from him. But the Philistines took him, and put out his eyes, and brought him down to Gaza, and bound him with fetters of brass, and he did grind in the prison house. Howbeit the hair of his head began to grow again after he was shaven. And when the people saw him, they praised their God, for they said, Our God hath delivered into our hands our enemy, and the destroyer of our country, which slew many of us. And it came to pass, when their hearts were merry, that they said, Call for Samson, that he may make us sport. And they called for Samson out of the prison house, and he made them sport, and they set him between the pillars. And Samson said unto the lad that held him by the hand, Suffer me that I may feel the pillars whereupon the house standeth, that I may lean upon them. Now the house was full of men and women, and all the lords of the Philistines were there. And there were upon the roof about 3,000 men and women that beheld while Samson made sport. And Samson called unto the Lord and said, O Lord God, remember me, I pray thee, and strengthen me, I pray thee, only this once, O God, that I may be at once avenged of the Philistines for my 2 eyes. And Samson took hold of the 2 middle pillars upon which the house stood, and on which it was borne up, of the one with his right hand, and of the other with his left. And Samson said, "Let me die with the Philistines." And he bowed himself with all his might, and the house fell upon the lords and upon all the people that were therein. Then his brethren and all the house of his father came down and took him and brought him up and buried him between Zorah and Eshtaol in the burying place of Manoah his father. Psalms. The Lord will give strength unto his people. The Lord will bless his people with peace. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore will not we fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea. John. After this, there was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now there is at Jerusalem, by the sheep market, a pool, which is called in the Hebrew tongue Bethesda, having 5 porches. In these lay a great multitude of impotent folk, of blind, halt, withered, waiting for the moving of the water. For an angel went down at a certain season into the pool and troubled the water. Whosoever then first, after the troubling of the water, stepped in, was made whole of whatsoever disease he had. And a certain man was there, which had an infirmity 38 years. When Jesus saw him lie, and knew that he had been now a long time in that case, he saith unto him, Wilt thou be made whole? The impotent man answered him, Sir, I have no man when the water is troubled to put me into the pool, but while I am coming, another steppeth down before me. Jesus saith unto him, Rise, take up thy bed, and walk. And immediately the man was made whole, and took up his bed, and walked. And on the same day was the Sabbath. The Jews therefore said unto him that was cured, It is the Sabbath day. It is not lawful for thee to carry thy bed. He answered them, He that made me whole, the same said unto me, Take up thy bed and walk. Then asked they him, What man is that which said unto thee, Take up thy bed and walk? And he that was healed wist not who it was, for Jesus had conveyed himself away, a multitude being in that place. Afterward Jesus findeth him in the temple, and said unto him, Behold, thou art made whole. Sin no more, lest a worse thing come unto thee. The man departed, and told the Jews that it was Jesus which had made him whole. And therefore did the Jews persecute Jesus, and sought to slay him, because he had done these things on the Sabbath day. But Jesus answered them, My Father worketh hitherto, and I work. Therefore the Jews sought the more to kill him, because he not only had broken the Sabbath, but said also that God was his Father, making himself equal with God. Then answered Jesus and said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, the Son can do nothing of himself, but what he seeth the Father do. For what things soever he doeth, these also doeth the Son likewise. For the Father loveth the Son, and showeth him all things that himself doeth. And he will show him greater works than these, that ye may marvel. I can of mine own self do nothing. As I hear, I judge, and my judgment is just, because I seek not mine own will, but the will of the Father which hath sent me. Ephesians. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. Psalms. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God. In Him will I trust. I'll now read correlative passages from the Christian Science textbook, Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures, by Mary Baker Eddy. Divine mind rightly demands man's entire obedience, affection, and strength. No reservation is made for any lesser loyalty. Obedience to truth gives man power and strength. Submission to error superinduces loss of power. Physical science, so called, is human knowledge, a law of mortal mind, a blind belief, a Samson shorn of his strength. When this human belief lacks organizations to support it, its foundations are gone. Having neither moral might, spiritual basis, nor holy principle of its own, this belief mistakes effect for cause and seeks to find life and intelligence in matter, thus limiting life and holding fast to discord and death. In a word, human belief is a blind conclusion from material reasoning. This is a mortal, finite sense of things which immortal spirit silences forever. To measure intellectual capacity by the size of the brain and strength by the exercise of muscle is to subjugate intelligence, to make mind mortal, and to place this so-called mind at the mercy of material organization and non-intelligent matter. What is termed matter manifests nothing but a material mentality. Neither the substance nor the manifestation of spirit is obtainable through matter. Spirit is positive. Matter is spirit's contrary, the absence of spirit. For positive spirit to pass through a negative condition would be spirit's destruction. Anatomy declares man to be structural. Physiology continues this explanation, measuring human strength by bones and sinews and human life by material law. Man is spiritual, individual, and eternal. Material structure is mortal. Moral and spiritual might belong to spirit, who holds the wind in his fists, and this teaching accords with science and harmony. In science, you can have no power opposed to God, and the physical senses must give up their false testimony. Your influence for good depends upon the weight you throw into the right scale. The good you do and embody gives you the only power obtainable. Evil is not power. It is a mockery of strength, which ere long betrays its weakness and falls, never to rise. We walk in the footsteps of truth and love by following the example of our Master in the understanding of divine metaphysics. Christianity is the basis of true healing. Whatever holds human thought in line with unselfed love receives directly the divine power. Resist the temptation to believe in matter as intelligent, as having sensation or power. The scriptures say, "They that wait upon the Lord shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint." The meaning of that passage is not perverted by applying it literally to moments of fatigue, for the moral and physical are as one in their results. When we wake to the truth of being, all disease, pain, weakness, weariness, sorrow, sin, death will be unknown, and the mortal dream will forever cease. My method of treating fatigue applies to all bodily ailments, since mind should be and is supreme, absolute, and final. In mathematics, we do not multiply when we should subtract and then say the product is correct. No more can we say in science that muscles give strength, that nerves give pain or pleasure, or that matter governs, and then expect that the result will be harmony. Not muscles, nerves, nor bones, but mortal mind makes the whole body sick and the whole heart faint, whereas divine mind heals. When this is understood, we shall never affirm concerning the body what we do not wish to have manifested. We shall not call the body weak if we would have it strong. For the belief in feebleness must obtain in the human mind before it can be made manifest on the body, and the destruction of the belief will be the removal of its effects. Science includes no rule of discord, but governs harmoniously. The necessity for uplifting the race is father to the fact that mind can do it, for mind can impart purity instead of impurity, strength instead of weakness, and health instead of disease. Man's enslavement to the most relentless masters, passion, selfishness, envy, hatred, and revenge, is conquered only by a mighty struggle. Every hour of delay makes the struggle more severe. If man is not victorious over the passions, they crush out happiness, health, and manhood. Here, Christian Science is the sovereign panacea, giving strength to the weakness of mortal mind, strength from the immortal and omnipotent mind, and lifting humanity above itself into purer desires, even into spiritual power and goodwill to man. Let the slave of wrong desire learn the lessons of Christian Science, and he will get the better of that desire and ascend a degree in the scale of health, happiness, and existence. Step by step, will those who trust him find that God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Let's pray together silently for a few moments, and then pray aloud together the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Let's sing hymn number 46, 46. I'll read the second verse. Day by day the promise reads, daily strength for daily needs. Cast foreboding fears away. Take the manna of today. Number 46. This church is a branch of the Mother Church, the First Church of Christ Scientist in Boston, Massachusetts. We hold Sunday services at 11 a.m. and Wednesday testimony meetings at 7:30 p.m. We also have services in Spanish, Sundays at 1 p.m. and Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m. All services are held in person and online, and all are welcome. Third Church offers Sunday school classes in person and online for children and teens. These free 1-hour classes are available each Sunday at Sunday school. Children learn how much God loves them and cares for them. They also learn about the Bible characters and the healing power of prayer. For more information on times and classes, please send us an email, thirdchurch@thirdchurchnyc.com. Third Church maintains a reading room on the lower level of this building. The reading room provides a quiet place for prayer and study, and all are welcome. Here you may purchase books and recordings on Christian Science. The reading room has the latest issues of the Christian Science Monitor, an award-winning international news weekly available to read or purchase. Reading room hours are Monday through Friday from 1 to 4 p.m. Replays in English and Spanish are available of this church's August talk by Lyle Young, CSB, titled Christian Science, A High Standard of Care, on our website, thirdchurchnyc.com. Replays are also available on our website, thirdchurchnyc.com, in English and Spanish, of a talk by Lona Ingerson, CS, titled The 23rd Psalm. Third Church of Christ Scientists, New York City, this church, and other Christian Science churches in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut invite you to a series of weekly ongoing Saturday morning inspirational radio talks in Spanish that will air through January 6th, 2024 from 9 to 9:25 a.m. on WADO 1280 AM radio. The series, titled The Road to Christian Healing, will address topics such as inner peace that keeps us safe, Christian healing, integrity assured, Christian Science, a high standard of care, to name a few. The experienced, internationally based speakers are members of the Christian Science Board of Lectureship. Replays of each talk will be available at thirdchurchnyc.com until January 31st of 2024. Join us starting on Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. on WADO 1280 AM radio. The talks will also stream on our website, thirdchurchnyc.com. The next Spanish language lecture on December 9th, sponsored by 8th Church, New York City, and First Church of Darien, Connecticut, is A Salvo en el Abrazo del Amor Divino, Safe in the Embrace of Divine Love. The lecturer is Monica Pasaglia. The members of this church invite you on Christmas Eve, Sunday, December 24th, to an inspirational talk by Michael Muslin, CS, titled Being Drawn to the Christ. The talk features a journey through the Old Testament prophecies of the coming of the Christ. Please join us in person on Christmas Eve, Sunday, December 24th, at Park Avenue and 63rd Street. A program of inspirational Christmas music will start at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time. The talk will begin at 7:30 p.m. You can also join us online at thirdchurchnyc.com. We will provide live simultaneous Spanish translation. There will be free childcare with fun activities. Watch for Christmas Eve updates on our website, thirdchurchnyc.com. This meeting is now open for all to share experiences of healing and spiritual insights that prove God's ever-presence and power in their lives. If you're listening by telephone and would like to speak, press *6 and wait until your line is unmuted. Please speak directly into the microphone of your phone. Your message will be easier to hear if you do not use the speaker function. If you're watching via Zoom, you can choose the raise your hand icon or unmute yourself and speak.
I appreciate the full readings of the Old Testament stories. There's always something new and startling in those stories. And the healing at the pool, we know very well because it appears at least several times a year in the lesson. And each time we read that, study that, think about it, there's something new that comes. And tonight what came to me was that Christ's scientific action on the false belief of that man who had been a long time in that case. When Jesus said, "Wilt thou be whole?" he might as well have said, "Will you see yourself as unharmed?" Wholeness has the component definition of being free from harm. Will you see that you have never been harmed, never been in this case? Will you see yourself as not needing to rely on superstition, which is as soon as one gets to the pool, one gets the prize? And we could translate that to some degree. Will you see yourself as free from the theories of materiality, mortality, materia medica? But it was Jesus' clear apprehension of the fact that this man was pure and strong in the eyes of his maker that healed him. And of course, there could be other ways of looking at that as well, but that is what came to me tonight. We learn in Christian Science, and it sometimes takes a lot of discipline, that we don't heal a real problem. We awake from the dream that the problem could be real by the understanding of divine science, divine mind, divine principle love, etc. I was also thinking about the training of the physical body. When one is in the arts or one is participating in athletics, the body needs to obviously be trained and needs to function in a good way and in an effective and successful way. And what I'm learning is that strength in the body is really the outcome of integrity and harmony. Integrity being a part of structure, that being a part of principle, harmony being a part of principle. When all the muscles are working the way they're supposed to work, that's integrity and harmony, and what the outcome is strength. And we know in science that muscles are thought forces. So when we spiritualize the concept of muscle to thought force and know that all thought comes from God and has power, and we purify our thinking about the physical body appears quite naturally then as the outcome of that spiritual understanding, and it moves in accord with God. It reflects goodness and power and glorifies God and gives one a great pleasure, the pleasure one sees when one sees top of the line dancing, top of the line running, swimming, etc. Those are, whether the athlete knows it or not, those effects are actually connected to divine principle and principle's thought forces. So I'm grateful to be continuing to learn all of this, and thank you for your thoughtful and thorough and cogent readings.
Thank you.
Thank you for your readings. I'm so happy to be here tonight that I made it. My testimonies tonight are, some will seemingly be very little demonstrations. One big one, followed by a few little ones. But they all build on each other. They build on each other to give one the confidence that what we learn in Christian Science, what Mary Baker Eddy taught us, left us with this legacy of of actionable prayer, of metaphysics, is that it works. I mean, it's the truth. And if you don't have doubt and you have confidence in the principle and the truth, the natural outcome, as the former testifier explained, is the natural result of harmony and principle and structure and truth. The first one has to do with the locating of a cat that my son's girlfriend's cat in Toronto. She and her sister have each had a cat. Excuse me. And they were used to going outside in the backyard, and they were attacked by coyote. And the sister's cat did not make it. She had to be put down the next day. But my son's girlfriend's cat bolted up a tree. And I mean up a tree that was like 100, I mean, many, many, many feet high. I saw pictures. The rescuers shook the tree. She came down and she bolted down the street. So my son and his girlfriend were at their cousin's wedding in Nashville. They come back to Montreal. They were prepared to stay the week. Her parents did not let her know until the next day because the cat still did not come home. 36 hours. So my son booked the next train. They headed back to Toronto. He let my mother know to please pray. He texted me, "I know you understand, Mother. Can you pray as well?" So I did. Now, he's not a practicing Christian Scientist at this point. He went to Sunday school his whole childhood, but he still knows the truth, and he still calls on my mother and myself for prayer. I was very quiet, and I knew without any doubt that that little cat was safe wherever she was, that love had never left her side, had never left her, that she was in the arms of love, protected, safe, and that she would be restored to her rightful place. And there was no fear. There was no doubt. And then I wrote to Ellen and I said, just trust and know that Tofu is safe. Wherever she is, she's safe. And, harmony will be restored. And she's not a Christian Scientist. I said the right things to comfort her. And, well, every, 15 minutes later, I went to pray again. And then another time I went to pray, and I said, why am I keep doing this? I know the truth. I don't have to keep going back to God, to mind, to love. I just have to know. And within the next hour, I got a text back from them that she had made her way to the neighbor's roof. 36 hours, this cat is gone, and within 2 hours of asking for prayerful help, this cat is restored back home. So that was just a wonderful demonstration. The ones that followed are just me in my apartment trying to put something up very, very high and knowing I don't have the physical height to do it. And I'm standing on this ladder and I said, oh gosh, God, you got this. And within, minutes, I somehow managed to get this up and over 2 times. Wordle, that New York Times game, I'm stuck on something. And I'm just, I can't seem to get it. And I'll just say, mind knows what this word is. And right away, the minute I affirm it, the minute I claim it, the word comes right to me. It's pretty remarkable. And these are tiny little demonstrations that seemingly don't, have much import in our life. But in this, this world with what is happening right now, there seems to be a cloud. There's lots of turmoil and lots of discord. And it's these little things we have to cling to. We have to, I mean, not we, but me, maybe we, that make me realize, no, all is not lost. It's never lost. Some movie is playing right now, but it's not the truth. And so I just want to express gratitude for knowing Christian Science, for Mary Baker Eddy, for leaving us this wonderful, actionable way to pray. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your readings on strength. The first story about Samson seemed to be about the old-fashioned strength in the arm. But even Samson, even in that story, it wasn't his strength. It was this spirit of being in obedience to the Nazarene discipline of not cutting hair and being imbued with that discipline or in obedience to a regime that I don't know, and I don't think it's set forth in the Bible other than not cutting hair. But his strength was pulling the pillars either. I think he must have been pushing them apart rather than pulling them together, whatever. But that was sort of very physical in form. There were spiritual elements to it, but it appeared that it was physical strength. Christian Science lifts us above a material or corporeal sense of strength, and but still, all the readings that you had from the Bible tonight, that God is our strength and that it strengthens us. Your mother had a favorite passage, I can do all things through Christ that strengtheneth me. Mental strength is something to contemplate, and we see mental strength everywhere. References were made to dancers and musicians in sports. Mental strength is when one's very good, but if you get behind, or if things aren't going right, or the score is going against you, the opponent has the momentum. How do you keep going and win? It's mental strength in the midst of all the difficulties to keep going, and that's a form of mental strength. I think in my life, evidence of mental or spiritual strength has been moments of resisting temptation. I think that's one manifestation of strength, when something would coax us down a path that is known to us not to be right, not to be appropriate, and then having the strength not to succumb to the temptation. Jesus' temptations in the wilderness, he was showing mental strength when he was hungered and by himself and facing the adversary, and still he held to the position. He relied on the scriptures. He knew the scriptures and he relied on them, and he wasn't misguided by an erroneous attempt to apply the scriptures. I appreciate that when we read the Bible and the scriptures and keep the thought, Mrs. Eddy says, cling steadfastly to God and his idea. And that's the first step in healing. That is a strength. And that's the presence of God. And that's reflecting God's strength. God is the all-powerful. I appreciate raising that sense of spiritual strength.
Thank you. Thank you all for your testimonies and your prayers and your supportive presence. Let's conclude with singing hymn number 65. I'll read the third verse. From glory unto glory, what great things he hath done, what wonders he hath shown us, what triumphs love hath won. From glory unto glory, from strength to strength we go, while grace for grace abundantly doth from his fullness flow. Number 65.